Good afternoon. We are here again on the Love Bay Radio, sharing with you our year in review. Actually, from our past guests that we had on the program, we are so happy to be back and we're excited after what took place last Sunday. We are excited. Um, Today, we are so happy, and Dr. Alvin is with us. And we are happy to have you listening to us today. All of our listening audience, if you can, please, you can send us any question. This is our end of year, and we would like for you to send us any question, any comments, or maybe let us know what you would like to hear come January 2025. We want to make sure our program is relevant and we are answering your problems. So please, we will give you our telephone numbers. Please send us your question, your comments, or whatever you would like for us to cover. Our number is 437-778-3299. Please text us or you can watch us on YouTube. And again, the number 437-778-3299. Please give us a call. We would like to hear from you. Or you can send us an email to infolovebay@gmail.com. Send us your text, send us your message, and let us hear from you so we can know what you want to hear come next year. Um, so you're listening to the marriage and relationship, the way forward. Please let us hear from you. Dr. Alvin, you want to say hello to our audience?
Yes. Hello. Yes, Doc. Another year. Another year. We're wrapping up another year. And to God be the glory. Great things He has done. And as we reminisce of all of the exciting and provocative and interesting conversations we've had over this year, there is a lot to cover. And yeah, we thank God for giving us the strength that we could make it through this year. And we encourage all of those that's listening to us, that's watching us, to continue to share and to, like Dr. Maria say, send your questions, send your concerns, stuff that you want us to address. Um, God spares all of our lives in the new year. We will do our best to address those topics as best as we know how. But yeah, it's been exciting, Doc. It's been an exciting year, and can't wait to see what's gonna happen next year.
Yes, indeed, Doc. And when we talk about review, I know we've had a number of persons on, but the ones that really stood out to me is Dr. LaShanta Smith,
Yeah.
Dr. Barbara, and our recent guest. Now, those are the ones that stood out. When we talk about Dr. Smith, we
Ah,
look at the men, and it was awesome. It was great because we found out that men should not be eating too much sugar. They,
yes.
it was so awesome. It was such a powerful show, and we are hoping to have Dr. LaShanta on again in the new year. But
Mhm.
there, we've learned a lot of things, and what we've learned from her was some of the reasons that are causing marital issues because men have testosterone, women the estrogen, and if we don't know our partner hormonal level, it can really cause a conflict in the relationship. So we've had that opportunity to share with Dr. Shanta, and
Mhm.
one of the things, like I said, I took away was men should not be eating too much sugar, and we find that men love sweet, love this
Love it.
ice cream,
Love it.
love the ice cream, love the cake, and all the sweet stuff. But
Yeah.
we want our men to be healthy in 2025. So we want to bring Dr. Smith on again to remind our men and to share with some of them who may not have caught the program to learn more about their wives and husband learn wives learn more about their husband hormonal level. And this will help to bring um, unity and harmony in a relationship. Doc, what was your takeaway from that program?
Yes, that program enlightened me quite a bit because of all of the issues that I dealt with, even in my counseling sessions. I never really focused on the hormonal levels and talking about how there must be a balance. Um, and how the balance for men is different than the balance for women.
Mhm.
All of these things are so vital and are so important that that we now need couples to know this,
Mhm.
because when you think that somebody is giving you the cold shoulder, it may not be that they're giving you the cold shoulder. It's just that they're just going through an imbalance in their hormone, that needs to be checked. Um, I was trying to doc for trying to get her to ease up on the sugar thing, but but she did not ease up on that sugar. So
Mhm.
yeah, one of the things that I'm going to be intentional with come next year, God's willing, is to ease back, even though I have already, but to go even further and ease back on the on my sugar in intake, and to see what I can do so that we could strike a balance hormonally. Yeah,
Yes,
she did an excellent job.
sure did. And I'm thinking about one thing I'm also remembering is the fact that she spoke about a woman, the estrogen or the time of month that the women go through. One minute she may be laughing, you may say, "Oh, you're putting on a little weight here," and the next minute you tell her that, and then you get a totally different response. And I thought that was so hilarious because you can tell a woman you're adding a little bit of weight here, and like she said, you smile at it, but the next time she'll be snapping on you. Oh, I'm fat. So all of these things. And now that we are in the Christmas season, Doc, I believe a lot of people will be putting on a little extra pound here and there. So it that program at least would have prepared us now for the Christmas holiday, because when your spouse would have added a little extra weight here, you will be careful telling her, "Oh, you're putting on weight." You know.
Yes, yeah.
So with the holiday coming, yes, we can eat, but make sure come January, try cut back on the sugar, because everything right now, Doc, we're eating the rice, the pastries, the cake, not to mention the sugar itself. All of these are sugar, and it causes some people only look at it and they add pounds to their body. So
Yes.
we have to now prepare ourselves for January. Eat what you can, but make sure take a different approach come January. And
Doc, I am thinking about here in our culture, the guava duff, the
mm,
coconut tart, the peanut cake, the benny cake. You
mhm,
you you just name it. We could go on for days,
all
just
sugar.
naming like the coconut doobie and all of those things that we consume during these
Mhm.
holiday times.
Yes,
Boy, and everything is loaded with sugar,
sugar.
loaded
Yes,
with sugar. Even eggnog, all even the things that we drink, full
yes,
up with sugar.
yes.
So I will say to people, be very cautious, but make sure next year that you do a cleanse at the beginning of the year or so, after
Mhm.
you've consumed all of this sugar, that you cleanse your body. And
Yes.
I think that is needed. Maybe that's one of the reasons why in most churches now here in the Bahamas, that first week or sometime within the first month, the whole church goes on fast.
That's
Yeah.
that's a good point. That's a good point. But for our men, our relationship, please take care of your bodies. And that was all of this came from Dr. Smith.
Mhm.
Um, who was also a guest on our show.
Yeah.
And then we had Doc, maybe you can remember some of the persons that we would have had. We had Dr. Barbara Stewart. She was with us and she spoke about grief and loss. And
Yes.
we're going to talk a little bit more of the things that are happening during this holiday that are really, challenging for some people. But she helped us to understand, we have to deal with grief, and grief doesn't only come from the death of someone. We have
Yeah.
grief in relationships, and
Mm-hmm.
perhaps there are many persons that were with a particular significant other prior to this Christmas holiday, and
Mm-hmm.
now they have a problem. So we have to, share a little bit more about the grief and loss, you know, to help
Yeah.
people to deal with their situation for this Christmas holiday. But we,
Because that is reality, Doc. That
yes,
is reality. And some people out there might be cold and might be um I don't know the right word that we can use, but callous to people who are still suffering, who are
yes,
still grieving, and they may say, "Man, life is grand. Just get over it." Um, that's easier said than done.
yes,
That
definitely.
is very much easier said than done. Even me and when we had this discussion with Dr. Barbara, I mentioned how it's been 6 years now,
Hmm.
um, with without my mother, and 2 years without my brother
Yeah.
Lawrence, and my mother Sheila, and every every time, every Christmas, because of the tradition, I'm waiting to hear her voice, or I am jumping on a plane heading to Grand Bahama for Christmas Sunday, because I know she wants all of her 9 children and her husband and her grandchildren. She wants them all at the house because she's prepared a lovely meal for us to just sit and spend that day together. Now, that void is there,
Hmm.
uh, and boy, what do we say?
Hmm.
And I listened to a famous preacher one time said that when his mother-in-law died, he he tried to um, fulfill that role for his wife, and his wife said to him, "Listen, you can only be my husband.
Yeah.
You could never be my mother. So
Yeah.
you cannot fill that role, that void. You cannot fill, and
Hmm.
that is reality.
Yeah.
And as loved ones, we need to be sensitive to our partners and to our family, because this season is a difficult one for many. And
Yes.
I just heard to a day talk after church of a young man who just jumped off of a cliff
Hmm.
here in Nassau,
Yeah.
just walked up to a cliff and jumped off and killed himself. And many may say, "Oh wow, he may have gone crazy," but we don't know what he was grieving over,
Yeah.
and what this season means.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah. That it is so true. It is so true, Doc, that we have to be um, careful how we deal with persons, especially during this time, because it may not be the death of a loved one, it may be a loss of a job, or
mhm,
maybe something that is dear to that person. So while we may be celebrating, and you said it so well, they may say, we'll get over it. It's not that easy. So we have to be sensitive not to step on those persons who choose to continue, or feel that this is the way for them to really get over it. So we
mhm.
have to help those persons if they, like Dr. Stewart said, if they are not ready, we should not force them. you know
Yes.
we have to take it, allow them to take it one day at a time, one step at a time. because it's not easy losing a loved one or losing a job. Imagine, and you talk about this young man, who knows? He may have lost his job.
Mhm.
How can he help himself during this Christmas holiday? Everybody's celebrating, everybody's buying. So we
Mhm.
have to really help those persons that are going through, not be so selfish,
Mhm.
to say, well, oh, you can get over it, or, everyone, like she said, grieve differently.
Yeah. And Doc, even now, as you're talking, I'm here thinking, boy, I need to, even though in my grief, I need to call people who I know are going through, like I shared of a friend of mine, who Christmas Day last year lost her father,
Yes.
and 3 months later, she lost her mother.
Hmm.
And as you were talking, she just popped into my mind, because
Hmm.
this really is the first Christmas
And
without
it's
both
difficult.
of her parents.
Yes. And it's difficult.
So so when these things happen, we need to just call, because you don't know what they're going through. Pick up
Mm.
the phone and call, and let them know, listen, you have a friend here, you have a listening ear,
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
that they don't have to make drastic the decisions to take their life, or
Hmm.
to injure themselves or someone else.
That's
Um,
right.
we need to be our brother's keeper.
That's right.
Yeah.
So even in relationships, there may have been a divorce.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we have to find ways to help and to encourage them, or just be there. Sometimes it's not the talking, but it's just your presence with
Yeah.
these people. You know, you've been married to someone for 40 years and now you find yourself single again. That's not easy. It's
No.
not easy, or you may have been dating somebody long, and then that person is gone. These are the things that really, and during Christmas time, because it's such a happy time, time where loved ones, friends, everybody come together, celebrate, and have a good time. So you find yourself without a spouse, or maybe the spouse died. You find yourself without a spouse or anyone, and the reality of it is, it's real.
Yes. Yes.
There's hurt, there
Yeah.
is grief, you
Mhm.
know. So
And then too, Doc, even with that, even with that situation, your spouse died. You've been married for 40 years. The whole dating scene is different.
it's different.
So you're, even if you decide that, listen, I don't want to be alone. My children are grown, my grandchildren are grown, they're all gone. And I need to have a companion. Just trying to get back in the game. Gee, I
It's
don't
a
even know if you could get back in
Yeah.
the game, because wow, what um
Yes.
I remember, Doc, when Tanya and I, we were dating, and she was off to university, because our dating thing was a long distance relationship. So
Mhm.
75, well, let me be, about 85% of our dating was on the phone,
Right.
because we were distant from each other.
Hmm.
And we laughed at it when I said to her, could you imagine me calling you on the phone, and I could see you and you could see me, uh,
Hmm.
as we talk and all of that type stuff? And me and her laughed at that, and I said, boy, that'll never happen in our lifetime.
No.
What? Now everything is FaceTime.
FaceTime. So I feel the fact that you said someone having to start all over again. That sounds like another topic for us, because it's not easy
No.
starting over again. And I believe there are many persons finding themselves at that point of having to
Mhm,
start over again.
mhm.
And how can you help these people?
Yeah.
First of all, you're going to have to maybe find someone or look for someone that is the person or the ID that you're looking for.
Mhm.
You got to find out if they are compatible,
Mhm.
and the list is endless. And after you would have gone through 40 years of anything, I don't know if starting over is easy. And I believe there's a sound that says starting all over again is going to be rough, but it doesn't have to
Rough
be
and tough.
rough and tough. But I personally believe it doesn't have to be rough if we just sit down and really count the cost. Look at what, go over what we want to see, right?
Doc, 40 years ago, the man wrote a letter to the woman who he was interested in. He didn't even write a letter to her. He wrote a letter to her father.
Yeah, yeah.
Went to the house and sat and met the father and say, uh, Mr. So and so, I am interested in your daughter.
Hmm.
Would you oblige me to take her out on a date? You That don't happen these days.
No, no, no. Actually, at 40, you are now responsible for your own future. You're now
Yeah,
responsible. So it's even, I don't know if I can call it bad. It's hard work for you because you didn't have to do it before, but
yeah.
at least you know exactly what you're looking for, I hope.
Mhm.
And,
Yes.
and the vulnerability there is, you have to be careful because you can fall into a trap with someone that you really don't want to be with.
Mhm.
So it takes you right back to the young couple we had last week.
Yes, yes.
It takes me back to them. And it was so refreshing to hear them and how they are dating. So I believe someone being married for 40 years and have to now start over again, that was a good point even to start listening to those young people, how they do it and what they are doing as they move progressively into marriage.
Mhm.
I believe the same thing works, right? But it's going to take patience. Now, when you're at a certain age, though, you kind of become very impatient. It means
Mhm.
then, and you're wiser too, but it means then you're going to have to slow down and really go at this thing one step at a time.
And Doc, listen, I was talking, well, not talking, but I heard this guy. He was talking about how his first wife had passed, and I think it took him about 5 or 6 years before he remarried. But his now wife has to be very patient with him because he was married some 30 plus years with his first wife, and he's calling this now wife his first wife's name. And see, things like that, we would say, boy, that's a no-no. But 30 years, 35 years with one person, and you calling their name and all that stuff, when you get married to this next woman, you it's going to be hard to make that transition.
So then it brings up a question then. Do you think it was too soon for him to get married, whereby he cannot now remember this is not first wife, this is second wife? Was it too soon that he married this second wife?
I don't know, because dog, I I I think that when you get in a groove, right, and you're comfortable with someone, um, in his mind, he may think this is his first wife, and he's just calling her name, and
Wow.
it isn't. It isn't. I don't think in his mind a disrespect to the now wife. It's not like he's intentionally calling her by the name of his first wife, but I just think that that's something that they need to work through,
Yes.
and she needs to know, okay, honey is just going through, and eventually he can learn, um, I.e. so and so, so.
Well, well, I think maturity will bring that on, Doc. But then,
Yeah.
for a woman now going through her period of time,
Uh-huh.
menopausal, whatever, um, you know, that is not going to come across nice every time. She
Wow.
may be patient, but I doubt it's going to come across as, oh, it's just a slip up. Hormonal levels differs, and I believe it can explode one day. So
Yeah.
he has to get it quickly in his head. You're talking about another woman.
Uh-huh.
But I wonder if he remarried too quickly.
5, 6 years. I don't know. Well, see, and that's the thing. You can't put a time on it
Exactly.
because
Exactly.
we all deal with situations
Read
differently.
different. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have to watch that because it isn't a pleasant thing for a man to keep calling his first wife. No. If we have anyone in our audience that are listening to, please let us know your thought, whether it's okay for your new husband who was married for 30 plus years in another relationship, still calling you by your first wife name. If you are listening to us, please let us know your feedback. Should this happen? Should this be happening? By now he should have my name. I personally believe he should now know my name. Please let
I
us know
think
your
he
thoughts.
knows. I think he knows her name,
But
but
he is using it.
he just gets mixed up.
Yeah.
Cause see, think about it, Doc. Us men, we are not like you women who can multitask and who could do a billion things at the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
If you could get us to do three things at the same time, you really have a hero of a man. we
Yes.
we set our mind on something. We don't want that to change. We are fixated on it and we go after it.
Hmm.
um so this man has been trained for 35 years. Wife named Sally. So whenever he hear wife, the next thing that comes to him to mind is wife named Sally.
Oh,
now
wow.
now you're telling me after 35 years of that, new wife named Julie. Well, I gotta learn that. That can take some time before I move from Sally to Julie. Uh,
Mm.
yeah, that's not an overnight switch. Um, but even in that, there comes this level of patience, this level of understanding, and this
Yes.
level of love, where two, if I were to go, and God forbid, any person going into a second marriage, you must be candid. You must lay everything on the table. This is who I
Definitely.
am. These are my flaws. These are what I have again. Can you handle this?
Hmm.
You know, I've been married for X amount of years. I have 4 children. To because I've even talked to persons who tell me, okay, my wife died now, I'm going to remarry, and I'm asking them the questions. Okay, I still come to your house. Your first wife pictures are still all over the wall.
Mm.
When you remarried, you know they gotta come down, eh? And I
Exactly.
said that to a friend, and he was like, "What?" I said, "Yes,
Yes,
you're
they
not
got to
gonna
be
bring
moved.
no new woman inside this house with you and your first wife's picture,
No,
wedding
no,
picture still up on the wall. That can't
no,
happen."
no.
That shocked him. He then had to sit down and be like, I gotta move these things.
Oh, yes, yes.
And I'm like, yeah, Doc.
Hmm.
I go home now, Doc, and I know my father may not want me to talk his business, but I go home now,
Hmm.
and my mother's cologne, my mother's stuff, is still where she left it 6 years ago.
Wow. That answered my question for the question that we asked just now. Because he chose to hold on to that grease. He hasn't released as yet. His
54 years. They were
Yeah,
married for 54
yeah,
years plus.
yes. So that answered my question. Um, how quickly a person grieve is up to that individual.
Mhm.
Everyone do not grieve the same. So
Yeah.
then the other question that will come up is a man then that is still grieving ready, or man or woman ready for another relationship.
Do we ever stop grieving?
We we may continue going through it. We think about it. We go through the process every now and then. But if you haven't reached the point, let's move on. If you're not to that point, I have to move on. Then you're not ready. For me, that's my thought.
Yeah.
You may never stop grieving, but you could have a meltdowns at various times.
Hmm. Hmm.
But
Yeah.
we must respect the other person or the new person enough
Hmm.
to not make those type of mistakes,
Hmm. Yeah.
because you have to be intentional in your whatever you do. So if
Yeah.
you realize this is going to cause, you're going to make sure before you call, let me get this right.
Oh, yeah. Gotta make sure you call her by the right name.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
otherwise it can cause problem in the relationship
Unless you marry someone with the same name.
with the thing. Then you have absolutely no problem.
You got no problem if you marry
None
Sally,
whatsoever.
and
Yeah,
because your first wife's name was Sally.
for Sally. Yes. you know. So
Yeah.
it is real. The struggle is real.
Hmm.
But we don't want to make mistakes such as that continuously.
Yeah.
It's okay every now and then, but not a continuous thing, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
But usually we would have people marry within a year. Some people get married within 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, it's possible. Maybe they got over the grief that quickly.
Hmm.
Who knows, right? But whatever we do, we have to make sure you're ready for the next relationship.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it can create problems.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Major
So,
problem.
yeah.
Hmm.
So, one of our other guests was the ones last week, the 23 and 24-year-old Chelsea,
Oh,
and they had,
wow. Yes. They need to write a book, Doc.
yes,
They need to start writing that book,
yes,
because the wealth of knowledge and experience that they have already gone through, and even seeing their plans for the future, how they are preparing and what they're doing.
yes,
um, if they stick with it and if they work it, it'll work.
it
they
will
they
work.
they are a power couple, and
Hmm.
it would be nice, for us to bring them on periodically just to see where they are, um,
Yes, yes,
as as they move forward. And they, to me, were a breath of fresh air, that even in this generation,
hmm,
that it could be done right.
oh, yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was rather refreshing for me because, you know, they're young, upcoming,
Mhm.
and the the knowledge that they have and actually the wisdom and how they are dealing with their relationship, it's just mind blowing. Like you say, a book is should be forthcoming,
Mhm.
because to listen to them, they realize exactly, they know exactly what they want, and they are working it, and they are respectful of each other. They
Mhm.
are planning, and it's just not planning randomly. They are
Mhm.
planning based on every situation that they encounter.
Mhm.
So I love the way they shared and the way they are dating. And it
Mhm.
proves to us that dating is not out of style.
No.
Doing the right thing is not out of style.
No. Mhm.
Everything is still relevant,
Mhm.
and they're 23 and they're 24. So we
Mhm.
can't say, oh, they're old folks. No, these are young people, and this is how they are dealing with their relationship. And it's a thing that anyone can emulate,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
young and the not so young.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it will cause you to have a good relationship. It simply means that it, take, it takes work. You
Mhm.
cannot jump into a relationship and expect for everything to work out by itself,
Mhm. Mhm.
or jump into relationship and expect that man or that woman to change because you say you love them. And we've been talking about this from we started.
Mhm.
It takes work. But some people believe, they realize that this man doesn't have the qualities you're looking for. This woman doesn't have what I'm looking for.
Mhm.
But we are of the opinion that we can change these people.
Yes.
And that's where much of our problem comes in, Doc.
Mhm.
We cannot change them. But
Mhm.
if we find that this person is not compatible or is not the one that I'm looking for, let them go.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You
Hmm.
got to.
Yeah.
And it may hurt now, but I rather you have a hurt that lasts for a week or a month than for you
Yes.
to engage in a lifetime of hurt.
That's right.
Um, so you have to use wisdom.
Hmm.
You cannot be governed. Now, listen to what I'm saying. You cannot be governed just by your
Hmm.
feelings.
Right.
I agree that feelings is a part of the equation, but it's not the equation.
That's right.
Everything should not be I feel.
Hmm.
It got to be some common sense
Yes.
reality in there that listen, um, yes, I feel like me and you make a good couple, but whenever we round each other, we at each other's throats. We can't get on the same page. We can't see eye to eye on any issue. That is enough right there for you to say, let's go our separate ways.
Yes.
There's one of my favorite scriptures when it comes to relationships is found in the Bible. And I like I said, I don't know which version it is, but the King James puts it this way: how could two walk together except they agree? Uh,
Yes.
and this is in Amos. But
Hmm.
there's another version that says, two cannot walk together holding hands and going in different directions.
Can't work. I love that. Cannot work. Cannot
So
work.
that's
And
just going to be confusing.
yes. Yes. And I love what you said, Doc. I love it. We have to be intentional. In other words,
Yes.
intentional in our whatever we do in order to see harmony in a relationship. They
Hmm.
were really, really a good couple for us to end our conversation with last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we want our audience to know that you can have great relationships. Your marriage and your relationships can be great, but like you just said, Doc, we cannot rely only on feelings.
Hmm.
It's going to mess us up for every time
Yeah.
because when we see what is and we put feelings in the place, we have a problem. When you see the
Hmm.
facts, believe it, you know,
Yeah.
and things will
Yeah.
work
And
out.
Doc,
Well, Doc, go ahead.
one of the things that I thought was a highlight in that interview last week was that they stated how in the early parts of their relationship they were doing stuff wrong,
Yes, yes.
but they came to the knowledge of the truth,
Hmm.
and after accepting Jesus as their savior, and after now they're following the principles of the Bible. And you
Hmm.
know that we've been talking about this from Drum Street, that
Hmm.
marriage is a good idea because marriage is a God idea. and
Certainly.
and and who's best to give you instructions on a thing than the maker of the thing?
That's right.
Yeah, the maker of the thing knows how it should operate because he or she's the one that designed it. Uh,
Hmm.
so marriage, in my view, from our um, Judeo-Christian stance, is God has instituted this
Yes.
for man and woman to procreate, to love, and to grow a family
Hmm.
that can better our society and better us as of people.
That's
And this
right.
is how the next generation will come. And the next generation will come when a
Mhm.
husband and a wife come together. They, or man and woman, come together, form a union, form their own culture. And out of that culture, they birth their children, grow them up to be productive members in our society to make us all better.
Yes, yes. Good stuff,
And you
Doc.
may have, yeah, and you may have started wrong,
But
but
you
you
can
don't have.
still,
But yeah, you don't got to end wrong.
you
You
don't
may
have
have
to end
started
wrong.
wrong, but you could get on the right foot.
I love
Yeah,
it. I
yeah,
love
and
it.
that's what they did last week. They are the epitome of that. They,
Yes,
yeah, yeah,
yes. And Doc, it simply means they have now decided to remain celibate until they
yes, yes,
marry,
yeah,
which is a good thing for to hear coming from such a young couple.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So, Doc, we are in that season when this is something that, as women, we get upset with our husband, our spouses, when they don't remember special date. Now we are celebrating the Christmas holiday,
Hmm.
and we have some of our women, they're waiting to see what gift they're gonna get.
Oh,
Oh wow. And then there sometimes, we look at the relationship. Maybe the husband may not have it as he would like to. The
mhm.
wife may not have it as she would like to. Why don't you speak to those folks that are feeling somewhat down because they don't have what it takes to help to make this, or they think
Mhm.
they don't have what it takes to make this a beautiful Christmas?
What makes Christmas to me is that time, spending time with my loved ones. And I don't need a gift. That's my
Mm,
gift. My gift is um, that time.
I love
And
that.
I am so blessed, Doc. I am so blessed with the wife that I have, um, because she doesn't she isn't goo goo gaga over gifts and parties and things of that sort.
Very good.
She is more like, Alvin, we don't even have to go out. You, I, and the children. Once the children are happy,
That's it.
you us just being home and just spending quality time together is what is meaningful. And I want to say to the persons who are listening to us is that a gift will fade, but if you could create memories will last lifetimes.
Hmm.
And what do I mean by that? The memories that my grandmother made with my mother, some of them I now carry with me because
Yeah.
my mother has passed it on to me. I don't think my mother could
Very
remember,
good.
if
Very
she
good
was
stuff.
alive. I don't think my mother could remember the gifts my grandmother may have given her during her birthdays and during Christmas. But my grandmother gave my mother what was vital.
Mm,
She gave her heart. And
beautiful.
the reason why Tanya married me was not for a gift. She
Mm.
married me for me. And I married her for her. And then to talk, Tanya and I laugh at it because I would say to her, I said, babe, I gonna go buy you a gift, but it's your money I using because I ain't got no money. My money is your money. Your money
Mm.
is my money.
That's
So,
right.
so what I do, I just say to my wife, listen, baby, what do you want? Go and buy it, and tell yourself your husband buy you that, and I would do the same. I
Very
would buy
good.
it because to when we realize is greater than that, is greater than okay, you bought me a Gucci this, you bought me a, I don't even know the name brands. That goes to tell you that my wife is not tingsy. She she Once she sees her family is okay, she's fine. And even now, Doc, we don't even have up a Christmas tree because we are remodeling our house that we were supposed to be in for Christmas Day, but that's not going to happen. But we
Oh,
are happy. We are still
that's good.
happy that we can spend time together. Um, and I said to the wife, I said, let's not even think about putting up a Christmas tree. She's like, why? What about the children? I said, I need them to realize too that Christmas is more than just a tree and a gift. It's about family,
Mm,
sharing quality time together with family, making those memories. And that's what I would encourage those persons listening to us to do. Uh, don't worry about expensive gifts and all of that stuff. Spend time. I have done hundreds of funerals now, Doc. And
yeah.
in talking to family members, I never heard anyone of them say, oh, I wish daddy or mommy or my husband or my wife would come back so I could buy her that cologne or so I could buy her that car.
Right.
95, if not 100% of them says to me, I wish my loved one would come back so I could spend more time with
Time.
them.
Wow. Wow. That's powerful, Doc. That's powerful. And I hope our listening audience hear that, because that time, that family time together, showing each other love is more valuable, you're saying to me, than a gift. Whereas you, like you say, the money is in the pot. It's both of our monies.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
whenever you want anything, just go and buy what you want, and
Uh-huh,
you know, I
uh-huh,
love that, and I, it is something that is really valuable. And if you don't want to do it like that, I would say to persons, then let him know what you would like him to do for you. But if you are
yeah.
spending that quality time together, I don't believe there anything can top that.
No, no, no.
Nothing tops that,
Yeah, yeah.
because you know
Time with the one you love. Oh, when you spend time with the one you love, it's like time goes stand still.
it stands still. That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's better to have that time, that moment with
Hmm.
someone you love, as opposed to having a gift that's going to be used up, and depending on what it is, it could be finished by the end of the week or what have you.
At
So
a month's time, they don't even remember what the gift was.
what the gift was. And it is a true saying, people will not remember what you do, what you say to them, but they'll remember what you did for them.
Yes, powerful dog, powerful.
So if you spend that time with your loved one, when they are no longer on the scene, then you'll remember, I remember we did this together. And that's where the legacy comes in, and that's where we
Yeah,
have good memories. So
yes, yeah,
for
yeah.
those that are feeling down because there's not enough funds to buy you the gift that you want, just
Mhm.
dismiss that on the side, and cherish the person that you have. That's your gift. That's your gift. Cherish your spouse,
Yeah,
cherish your significant other. And
mhm.
it may not come today, but there's another opportunity.
Yeah, yeah.
There are other
And and and
opportunities.
and then to Doc, um, if I see something that I want for my wife, I don't wait for a special occasion to get it.
That's good. That's good.
Um,
That's
if
good.
if if she tells me, honey, my shoe, I need a new pair of shoe, let's go get the shoe. This
That's
don't have
right.
to be your birthday. This don't have to be Christmas. No, if you need it, let's go get it.
In other
Um,
words, you're giving
uh,
around the clock.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So we do what we have to do. We look at our budget, see what we could afford, and we are not going to be like the Joneses. We don't want to be like our neighbors. We don't
Hmm.
want to be like the ones down the street or up the street. We want to see what we can do, and we live in that means
That's
and
good.
be happy.
That's
Be
good.
happy where you are. Cause too, Doc, no house will be big enough
Hmm.
if you don't ever satisfy. you
That's right.
you can say, boy, this 2 bedroom house, I want a bigger house. Then you go build a 5 bedroom house, and then you get there and you like, boy, I still ain't satisfied because the neighbor down the street got 7 bedrooms. Then you go
That's right.
add on, now you have 10 bedrooms, and then you find out, okay, somebody down the street got a jacuzzi in one of the rooms, and you go get a jacuzzi, and you go do,
Mhm.
and you spend all of your working hours getting all of these things, and you never enjoy it.
Wow. Wow. You
And
know,
yeah,
continue. Yeah.
and one of the things that the wisest man that ever lived, King Solomon, said, that I think is just so powerful. King Solomon says, one of the things that is vexation to my spirit, and one of the worst things I've ever seen under the face of the earth,
Mhm.
is a man let work hard and labor, and another man enjoy it.
Wow. Oh, wow. Now that is wisdom. So we should be able to enjoy what we, in other words, take your
Yeah,
time and enjoy what you have now. And
yeah.
Doc, I love that so much. But I'm also thinking when we were younger, we lived in a very small home, but we saw that home so huge.
Mhm,
You know why? Because we were satisfied, we
mhm,
were happy. You know, not
mhm.
everyone started out with a huge um, castle,
No.
but that little house, you wonder, how did we make it in this little small house?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, but everyone was happy. And during the holiday, everyone, you got your meal
Uh-huh.
and you were happy. So
Mhm.
this Christmas season, let us continue to love each other and enjoy each other. And I want to say to our listening audience, uh, um, you're listening to Love Bay Afrobeat Radio. Please tune in to us by YouTube. You can join us by X, Facebook, and um, subscribe. Click that
Yeah.
button that says subscribe and then share it. So we would be happy to hear from you as well.
Mhm.
We are on IG, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, StreamYard, X, and all of those other stations. So please subscribe and share the
Mhm.
link so that others can hear, and let us hear from you.
Yes. Yeah. 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 That is good stuff, Doc. We had such a great year. One of the topics that stood out to me was where we talked about, before you say I do.
Oh,
before
yes. Yes.
before you say I do, and we had Mr. Trenton and his wife Deandra
Kirsch,
Samuel in, and we had Dr. Kirsch and his wife, um,
yes.
Suzanne. Was it Suzanne?
Suzanne, Kirsch
Suzanne,
Davel, Kirsch and Suzanne Davel.
Suzanne
Yes.
Marvel. Yeah,
Oh, correct. Yes.
we had them
Yes.
in, and they did an awesome job of
Yes.
preparing our listeners to, before you say I will or I do. These are
Yes.
things that you must make sure are in place. And it was powerful. It was
Yes,
powerful
indeed.
that
It was.
that you have to make sure that you are not selfish,
Mm-hmm.
that
Right.
you are selfless,
Mm-hmm.
that you are mature, because marriage is not for the weak.
Oh, no. Mm-hmm.
It is not for the weak. It is for the mature, selfless person who's
Mm-hmm.
willing to better the life of someone else. And one of the things that I got from it, Doc, was my role is to make Tanya the best Tanya she can be.
That's right.
And Tanya's role is to make Alvin the best
The best.
Alvin can be. And
Yes.
I think that is just so powerful, because what we have, Doc, is that we have people who are trying to make their spouse not the
Mm.
best spouse they could be, but the
But we don't
best
want that.
them.
Yes,
So
yes,
Alvin trying to make Tanya Alvin is
that's
not going
right.
to work. And
No,
Tanya trying to make Alvin Tanya is not going to work.
that's
Tanya
right.
has to be Tanya and Alvin has to be Alvin.
And then it
Uh,
works beautifully. Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Wonderful. Doc, we're about out of time, but I want our audience to know what we are hoping to do for the new year.
yes,
As we are talking, maybe you can share a bit of how we are proposing to run out of the gate for 2025
yeah.
by taking on the monthly programs. Can you share a little more with our audience?
Yes. What Dr. Maria and I we are thinking moving forward that we would do. We will have a theme for every month, and from that theme, we'll be bringing on special guests that will join us, and they will be um, elaborating or sharing their wealth of knowledge on those areas. For an example, in February, because that's the Valentine month, we're going to be talking about love. In January, we might have to be talk about fitness, getting in shape for the year.
Yes, and budgeting. Yes,
Yeah, fitness and
yes,
budgeting. And budgeting is a part of fitness.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so making sure that everything lines up, that we are physically, mentally, emotionally, and all those other leads balanced,
Yes.
so that we can have a good, prosperous year in 2025. So those are just some of the things that we are thinking of. But we want to say to you, if you have any topic that you want us to address, please contact us, send us a WhatsApp, send us a email, or send us any bit of information that you want us to talk about. You can send it to info lovebay at gmail.com, or you could text us at 437 778 3299. That's INFOLUVBAY at gmail.com. Info lovebay at gmail.com. And that number again is 437 778 3299. You can send us all of your thoughts, questions also, because we would love to address your questions and your concerns. So please forward that to us so we can look at it over the break, and we can come out of the bat, God's willing, next year just with hot topics, hot questions that we can address you, the listening audience, to be of some assistance and some help. But we want to thank you for hanging in there with us for this year. I know at some point some of the broadcasts we had technical difficulties because of internet problems and all of that, but we look forward to a better and programming next year, as we do all we have to do to facilitate those things. Doc?
Okay, and I wish to say to our audience, our listening audience, those who tune in every week, we love you and we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous and productive 2025. We look forward to being with you again in the new year, and we trust that you have a great, great Christmas with family and your loved ones. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, Doc. It was great. It was great. We had a great year, and yeah, more or better to come. Better to
Yes.
come. Better to come. Yeah, but it was good hanging with you this year, Doc.
Thank you too. And let me say thanks to all of our listening audience. Thanks to all of the persons who came on and
Thank our
shared with
guest.
us.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you, thank you, thank you.
yeah.
And we want you to tell someone about Love Bay Radio. Let someone know that they can tune in And there are other programs you can tune into and listen to. It's a great, great station. So
Yes,
share it with
subscribe
somebody else. Yes.
and be a part.